All right. So this class is regarding the tribe of Dan, what happened to them, where they at now, where are they now, and the future. All right. Let's go back in time to a prominent um member of the tribe of Dan to Samson and his family. Let's start with Judges chapter 13 and verse 1. You can imagine what life was like back then and the things that they seen. And in order to get this type of um, meeting, if you will, then they had to be some pretty solid Israelites back then. Okay. So let's bring that out. Judges chapter 13, verse 1.
Judges chapter 13 and verse 1. And the children of Israel did evil things again in the sight of Yahweh. And Yahweh delivered them into the hands of the Philistines 40 years.
Go ahead.
And there was a certain man of Zorah, of the family of the Danites, whose name was Manoah, and his wife was barren, and barren not.
So this is a Danite family, right? Go ahead.
And the angel of the Lord appeared unto the woman, and said unto her, Behold now, thou art barren, and barren and bearest not, but thou shalt conceive and bear a son.
So this is the angel of the Lord that shows up, right? Go ahead.
Now therefore be aware, I pray thee, and drink not wine nor strong drink, and eat not any unclean thing.
Keep going.
Verse 5. For lo, thou shalt conceive and bear a son, and no razor shall come on his head, for the child for the child shall be a Nazarite unto God from the womb, and he shall begin to deliver Israel out of the hand of the Philistines.
So you can be a Nazarite, you're not gonna get a haircut, not eating any unclean thing, and not drinking any wine. Okay. Or wine or strong drink. All right, can you read verse 6?
Judges 13, verse 6. And the woman came and told her husband, saying, A man of God came unto me, and his countenance was like the countenance of an angel of God, very terrible. But I asked him not whence he was, neither told he me his name.
So his consonants was like of an angel of God, very terrible. Like, so she is assuming that this is an angel. Do you know what I'm saying? He delivered a message, but his consonants spoke volumes. Okay. So just want to get that account, read much more regarding Samson and the amazing things that he did, how he was extremely mighty, strong, with the jawbone of an ass. He was beating them left and right, you know, slaying lions. So Samson wasn't no joke, you know what I'm saying? And the tribe of Dan is no joke, right? Let's go to um Genesis chapter 49 and verse 1. All right. And we got to understand one thing about Dan is that you don't see them when you read Revelation 7, you don't see we're missing Dan. So what happened to Dan? So we're going to figure this thing out, okay? You bring that out. Genesis chapter 49, verse 1.
Genesis chapter 49 and verse 1. And Jacob called unto his sons and said, Gather yourselves together, that I may tell you that which may befall you in the last days.
So we are trying to figure out this was Jacob gathered everyone together and said, look, this was going to happen in the last days. And you read Zephaniah 2 and 1 says, gather yourselves together. So you have two accounts of you know, in the last days, we should gather ourselves together. We should get closer, you know what I'm saying, with like-minded individuals, not going to the White House for Easter egg hunt on Trans Visibility Day, you know what I'm saying? But if you believe in Yahweh Shem Shai, his word, what what you should be doing, found the law, statutes, commandments, then you gather up amongst like-minded people, you know what I'm saying? And for those that aren't like-minded, that are not in tune with the word, then the Most High is separating them in these last days. All right. Can you go down to Genesis chapter 49, verse 16?
49 and verse 16. Dan shall judge his people as one of the tribes of Israel.
So it says, Dan shall judge the judge his Slakia. Dan shall judge his people as one of the tribes of Israel, right? Now let's go to Revelation chapter 4, Slakia, chapter 7, and start verse 3, Bubble Shaw.
Revelation chapter 7 and verse 3. Saying, hurt not the earth, neither the sea, nor the trees, till we have sealed the servant of God in their forehead.
So we're looking for that seal. All right. Slakia. Looking for that seal, you know what I mean? Of sealed of being a servant of the Most High, doing his work, not messing around, but taking this thing very seriously. Go ahead, can we verse 4?
Verse 4. And I heard the number of them which were sealed, and there were sealed 144,000 of all the tribes of the children of Israel.
Sealed of all the tribes of the children of Israel. Go ahead.
Of the tribe of Judah were sealed 12,000. Of the tribe of Reuben were sealed 12,000. Of the tribe of Gad were sealed 12,000.
You read down to verse 8. Oh, sure.
Of the tribe of Asher were sealed 12,000. Of the tribe of Naphtali were sealed 12,000. Of the tribe of Manasseh were sealed 12,000. Of the tribe of Simeon were sealed 12,000. Of the tribe of Levi were sealed 12,000. Of the tribe of Issachar were sealed 12,000. Of the tribe of Zebulun were sealed 12,000. Of the tribe of Joseph were sealed 12,000. Of the tribe of Benjamin were sealed 12,000.
So we don't see Dan there, right? And we're gonna figure out why. Why is Dan not there? Okay. Let's go to Hebrews chapter 1. Hebrews chapter 1, verse 1. Bubble shot.
Um, Hebrews chapter 1 and verse 1. God, who at sun who at sundry times and in diverse manners spake in time past unto the fathers by the prophets.
So um the Most High spoke to us right through the prophets. It's something that's very important to this day because a lot of the prophecies, I don't say a lot, but it's a significant amount of prophecies that hasn't happened yet. Uh, you know, thermonuclear destruction being one of them, you know, the Israelites leaving out of this wicked kingdom with great substance, the the other nations grabbing on to us and saying, "Hold on, let me come with you. I heard guys with you." You know what I mean? That's taking them to their place. So it's several, prophecies that hasn't happened yet. So when Christianity's like, we're just gonna read the New Testament. The Old Testament still has a lot of meat on those bones. You know what I'm saying? And you can't really understand the New Testament without reading the Old Testament. You can't just start in the middle half of the book, or you're not even in the middle, but the latter half of the book and start reading, got to get the whole understanding, right? Go ahead, read verse 2.
Verse 2. Hebrews chapter 1, verse 2. Have in these last days spoken us unto us by his Son, whom he had appointed heir of all things, by whom also he made the world.
He spoke through his son, in the last days, right? So when it talks about Genesis 49, what's going to happen in these last days began when Yahweh Shai was on the earth. Go ahead, read verse 3.
Verse 3. Who being the brightness of his glory and the express image of his person, and upholding all things by the word of his power, when he had by himself purged out our sins, sat down on the right hand of the majesty on high.
Time. All right. So now with that, let's go to um back to Genesis, right?
Uh,
Genesis 49 and verse 16. Looks like it was an earthquake on Rat Island. Look at that. A 5.7 earth magnitude earthquake on Rat Island. Can't make that up. All right. Genesis
chapter
chapter
49, verse
49,
2.
16. Con.
Dan shall judge his people as one of the tribes of Israel.
So this is prophecy, right? Go ahead.
Dan shall be a serpent by the way, and otter in the path, that biteth the horse heels, so that the rider shall fall backward.
Con. And like Solomon said, I saw servants on horses, you know what I mean? Princes walking, paraphrasing, right? So with this, he says he's gonna bite the horse and knock the riders off. All right. So Dan has a part to play in these last days. But why is Dan not part of the 144 12, 12 tribes of Israel, 12,000 sealed? Where's Dan at? Let's see what happened to Dan. All right, let's go to Second Chronicles chapter 11 and verse 12. You got it, you can bring it out.
Um, Second Chronicles,
Yeah, 11 verse 12.
Second Chronicles chapter 11 and verse 12. And in every several city he put shields and spears and made them exceedingly strong, having Judah and Benjamin on his side.
Go ahead.
Verse 13. And the priests and the Levites that were in all Israel restored to him out of all their coasts.
So this is Rehoboam, you know, um, with bringing, having Judah and Benjamin being strong, right? Exceedingly strong, having Judah and Benjamin on the side. The priests of the Levites are in Israel, resorted to him out of all their coasts. Why? Go ahead. Verse 14.
Verse 14. For the Levites left their suburbs in their possession and came to Judah and Jerusalem. For Jeroboam and his sons had cast them off from executing the priest's office unto Yahweh.
So the northern kingdom, right, um, was a split. You had a split between northern and southern kingdom. Uh, Solomon found, having these strange wives followed after their customs and burned incense to their gods. And the Most High says, I'm going to split the kingdom. I'm rend the kingdom out of your hand. So now it's split. And you have now the northern kingdom casting off the Levites, right? The priests of the house. Go ahead, read verse 15.
Verse 15, and he ordained him priest for the high places, and for the devils, and for the calves which he had made.
So he's, you know, um, we're gonna go into why he's doing this, but he's putting these false idols up, and pretty much anybody can be a priest at this point in the Northern Kingdom. Okay. So it's chaos. You know what I'm saying? The law is orderly. The law teaches us how to live. But when you bring in chaos, you go contrary to the law. Now you're praying to these calves, and this is my God now, something that's made of gold or silver. All right. Go ahead, read verse 16.
Second Chronicles 11, verse 16. And after them, out of all the tribes of Israel, such as set their hearts to seek the Lord God of Israel came to Jerusalem to sacrifice unto Lord God of their fathers.
And people that have a solid mind, like, hold up, this ain't right. You know what I mean? Let me go over to Jerusalem. They seem to got it together. They got the Levites over there. They're waxing exceedingly strong with Judah and Benjamin, because they're still in accordance with the law. Okay. So let's go to First Kings chapter 12.
First Kings chapter
First Kings
12.
chapter 12, verse, let me see. Slovakia. First Kings chapter 12, and you start at verse 19.
First Kings chapter 12, and verse 19. So Israel rebelled against the house of David unto this day.
So Israel rebelled against the house of David. Go ahead.
And it came to pass, when all Israel heard that Jeroboam was come again, that they sent and called him unto the congregation, and made him king over all Israel. There was none that followed the house of David, but the tribe of Judah only.
So at this time, the only people that are found house of David is Judah. Go ahead, read verse 21.
Verse 21. And when Rehoboam was come to Jerusalem, he assembled all the house of Judah with the tribe of Benjamin, and 180,000 chosen men, which were warriors to fight against the house of Israel, to bring the kingdom again to Rehoboam, the son of Solomon.
So now you got Benjamin in there as well. Okay. So you got Judah and Benjamin, and the Levites got kicked out of Israel, right? And came over to Jerusalem. And you also had righteous uh Israelites that came over as well. They realized something was wrong. So they're like, the Lord, the Spirit hopped on them to go into Jerusalem. Okay, so let's go down to verse 28.
First Kings chapter 12 and verse 28. Whereupon the king took counsel and made two calves of gold, and said unto them, it is too much for you to go up to Jerusalem. Behold, thy God, O Israel, which brought thee up out of the land of Egypt.
Khan, Salakia, let me say something. Go start at 26, public show.
God. First Kings chapter 12 and verse 26. And Jeroboam said in his heart, now shall the kingdom return to the house of David.
Go ahead.
If this people go up to do sacrifice in the house of the Lord at Jerusalem, then shall the hearts of this people turn again unto their Lord, even unto Rehoboam, king of Judah. And they shall kill me, and go again to Rehoboam, king of Judah.
So this is a conscious decision. He understands that um when everybody goes to Jerusalem, and they'll be down with the northern, I mean, Slakia, they'll be down with the southern kingdom, and they won't need him anymore. And he's like, you know what? They'll just kill me. So this is a conscious decision what he done All right, can you go to verse 28 again?
Uh, First Kings chapter 12 and verse 28. Whereupon the king took counsel and made two calves of gold and said unto them, it is too much for you to go up to Jerusalem. Behold, thy God, O Israel, which brought thee out of the land of Egypt.
He said, man, you don't gotta go all the way over there. Why you gotta go down there with them? Look at this. We got your gods right here. These are your gods. Now, some people, like we read, in Chronicles, people weren't down with that. They're like, that don't seem right. You know what I mean? But others were, you know what I mean? And this starts being like a generational type thing. Because if we were taught something wrong from our parents, if you don't know any better, you're gonna teach it to your children, and your children gonna teach it to their children. It still becomes part of the culture, if you will. And this was going on in Israel, all right, the Northern Kingdom. All right, read verse 29.
Uh, First Kings chapter 12 and verse 29. And he set the one in Bethel and the other put he in Dan.
See, so there it is. Now, Dan is is being pretty much entangled in idol worship, falsehoods. Okay. And one thing we know is that Most High ain't down with no idol worship. All right. Go ahead, Chris, verse 30.
Verse 30. And this thing became a sin, for the people went to worship before the one, even unto Dan.
Con. All right, so hold that. We're gonna come back. Go to Exodus chapter 20. Then we'll start verse 1.
Come. Exodus chapter 20 and verse 1. And God spake all these words, saying,
Go ahead.
I am the Lord thy God, which have brought thee out of the land of Egypt, out of the house of bondage.
So the Most High God brought us out of the land of Egypt, out of our bondage, out of our captivity. He says, I am thy Lord thy God. Go ahead.
Verse 3. Thou shalt have no other God before me.
Because the Most High God is a jealous God. You know what I mean? He's not gonna uh do all these amazing miracles and harden Pharaoh's heart just to bring them down and drown them with the Red Sea and all these plagues. And then, you know, and then the Israelites get a calf and they say, yeah, this is the God that brought us out. Like, what are you talking about? You know what I mean? Just because it's golden, a golden calf, I made the gold. I made the person that molded the gold. Like, what do you mean? So the Most High God is a jealous God. And he says off top, you should have no other gods before me. Go ahead, read verse 4.
Exodus chapter 20, verse 4. Thou shalt not make unto thee any greater image or any likeness of anything that is in heaven above, or that is in the earth beneath, or that is in the waters under the earth.
So don't make any of that, any of those things, right? And do what with them? Can you read verse 5?
Verse 5. Thou shalt not bow down thyself to them, nor serve them, for I, the Lord thy God, am a jealous God, visiting the iniquity of thy fathers upon the children unto the third and fourth generation of them that hate me.
You hate the Most High, he's going to visit not only you, he's going to deal with your children as well. All right. And he's saying, these things, like Solomon in the temple, he had cherubims, those are in heaven, but he wasn't bowing down to the cherubims. You know what I mean? Um, he made pomegranates, but he wasn't bowing down to the pomegranates. Our ancestors would bow down to these things that they and say that these are their gods. You know what I'm saying? That's madness. Okay. But he says off top, do not do these things. So let's go back to First Kings chapter 12. And what did our ancestors do? They did them. And there's going to be consequences and repercussions of these because teaching is there's sinning and teaching others to do the same thing. All right. Um, Where did we leave off? We were at
What, 28, 29.
29. Okay, go ahead.
First Kings chapter 12 and verse 30. And this thing became a sin, for the people went to worship before the one, even unto Dan, sorry,
Even
31.
even under Dan. Go ahead.
And we made an a house of high places, and made priests of the Lord of the people, of the lowest of the people, which were not of the sons of Levi.
So they're worshiping these idols in the high places, right? And the priest, pretty much anybody could be a priest. You had a heartbeat, you could be a priest. You know what I'm saying? Because the Levites will tell you, hold on, this ain't how it's supposed to be. You know what I mean? The Levites were you know, their inheritance scattered around Israel to teach Israel, this is the law, this is what you should be doing, this is what you shouldn't be doing. But if you know you're doing wrong, you don't want to hear those things. So they said the Levites got to leave, right? So now anybody can be a priest. Go ahead. Verse 32.
Verse 32. And Jeroboam ordained a feast in the 8th month of the 15th day of the month, like unto the feast that is in Judah. And he offered upon the altar. So did he in Bethel, sacrificing unto calves that he had made, and he placed in Bethel the priest of the high place which he had made.
So they're going off, right? All right, let's go to Hosea, and that's in Dan, right? You gotta keep that in mind. Let's go to Hosea chapter 4 and verse 16.
Hosea chapter 4 and verse 16. For Israel slideth back as a backsliding heifer. Now the Lord will feed them as a lamb in a large place.
Israel's backsliding. All right, go ahead.
Verse 17. Ephraim is joined to idols. Let him alone.
So Ephraim is what? The top tribe of the northern kingdom, joined under idols, right? And they're backsliding. The Most High is gonna um pay them, and pay them back for this. This is a sin. He's gonna sacrifice. Right? He's gonna have a sacrifice. Go ahead, verse 18.
Hosea 4 verse 18. They, their drink is sour. They have committed whoredom, stealing. Her rulers with chains do love, give you.
Con. So their sacrifices are tainted. You know what I mean? What they're doing to strange gods, other to idol worship. All right. Go ahead, verse 19.
Verse 19. The wind has bound her up as the wind, and they shall be ashamed because of their sacrifice.
Uh, so their sacrifice has nothing to do with Yahweh Shem Yahushai. It has to do with folly and witchcraft and mischief. And you can see from its inception, it was known that you know, Jeroboam was being deceptive. Hold on, if y'all go to Jerusalem, then what about me? Real focused in and selfish on himself rather than the well-being of the nation. And the nation was greatly affected by his decision to do that. Okay. And Dan as well, right? Dan in particular, because let's go to Amos chapter 8 and verse 14. What happened to Dan?
Uh, Amos chapter 8 verse 14.
Con.
They that swear by the sin of Samaria and say, Thy God, O Dan, liveth, and the manner of Beersheba liveth, even they shall fall and never rise up again.
So they fell and will never rise up again. So um Dan, it's prophesied, right? in the last days, what Jacob was saying to his children is going to be involved in the last days, but due to the idol worship, um, due to not hearkening into the voice of the Lord thy God, they have been absorbed, as we believe, into the other tribes. So we don't know who Dan is, but it does say he's going to be biting the heels of the horse and causing the rider to fall off. And in these last days, he's going to be judging, right? So like, let's go back to Genesis 49 in there. Because you can't take away from the prophecy. All right. So Genesis 49, verse 16.
Uh, Genesis chapter 49 and verse 16. They shall judge the people as one of the tribes of Israel.
So as one of the tribes of Israel. So Dan is a judge, okay? But due to the mistakes of his ancestors, I believe they have been absorbed into the other tribes. All right. And that is the lesson on Dan. Okay. All praise to Yahweh Shem Mashiach Yahweh Shai. Kom Yashai.
Come here, Islam.